By the way, BC means before Christ. Almost all the new textbooks are changing it to say BCE, before the Common Era. Christ is gone from the schools, folks. Textbook says the earth is billions of years old. Jesus said the creation of Adam was the beginning. Well, was he lying? Did he not understand science? Or was he right? How old is the earth? When was the beginning? Thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundations of the earth. How old is this earth? Could that date of 4000 BC be correct? Now, I do many debates at universities and speak on a lot of talk shows and stuff, and there's always some atheist who'll call in and say, Hovind, I got a question. Who did Adam's sons marry? A good question, and a fair question. I say that's a good question, and I'll be glad to answer that. However, you guys are the ones that have a serious problem. The Bible says Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived. Well, it doesn't say he found her there. But who was his wife, and who did Seth marry anyway? And I think I can answer that. However, compared to the evolutionists, we have a minor problem. See, they believe 18 or 20 billion years ago there was a big bang where nothing exploded and made everything. And 4.6 billion years ago the earth cooled down, and it was a hot ball of rock. Earth began as a hot ball of rock. And then millions of years of torrential rains created great oceans. And swirling in the waters of the oceans is a bubbling broth of complex chemicals. Progress from a complex chemical soup to a living organism is very slow. It sure is. It don't even happen. That's how slow it is. This guy said the first self-replicating systems must have emerged in this organic soup. So according to the Big Bang Theory, 20 billion years ago there was a Big Bang. And then 4.6 billion years ago the earth cooled down. It rained on the rocks for millions of years and turned them into soup, and the soup came alive 3 billion years ago. And that first life form found somebody to marry. Now there's a good trick. And something to eat, of course, and slowly evolved into everything we see today. That's the Big Bang Theory. So great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa was soup. I spoke at a college in Boston one time. They said, Hovind, you can come speak at our college if our professors can ask you any questions they want. Because we like to show to students how dumb you Christians really are. I said, I would be honored to come for that. So I showed, I felt like Daniel in the lion's den. I said, folks, I got my charts out. I said, folks, I believe the Bible. I believe 6,000 years ago God made everything, and 4,400 years ago there was a flood that destroyed everything. Noah saved 2 of each kind, not species, kind, on the ark. And then I told them what they believe, because most of them don't know what they believe, 20 billion years ago, Big Bang, 4.6 billion years ago, earth cooled down, rained on the rocks for millions of years and turned them into soup, and the soup